Welcome back to Bravo Breaking News. I am your host, Kim, back with another episode of Unpopular Opinions, my weekly show where I break down all of the top Bravo news and moments of the week, and of course, give my opinions on them all.
That's my opinion!
As always, we have so much going on in the world of Bravo this week. We have a new Bravo feud erupting that might be one of the most iconic feuds in Bravo history. There is also a lot to discuss about this week's shows, as well as the premiere of Special Forces. In case you guys missed that, I gotta say, I wasn't gonna watch this premiere, but after the headline that came out about it, I had to see it for myself. And boy, do I have some opinions to share about that, as well as, of course, some other Bravo news from this week. Before I dive in, if you are watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more Bravo breaking news. And if you are listening as a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, please give us a 5-star rating. It really helps us grow. And drop a review if you love listening. Okay, I'm going to start off with what is probably the most controversial story of the week. And I know you guys are going to have split opinions on this one because when it comes to this new feud, there's really no good side to be on, pun intended. If you know, you know. But a new feud has erupted that honestly is sending me to the moon, and that is between Scheana Shay and Tamra Judge. Now, these two people might be two of the most disliked people on Bravo, and they have chosen to go after each other. Now, before I dive into it, you have to give credit where credit is due because Scheana Shay is no longer on Bravo, yet she is perpetually in the center of the drama. Speaking of that, we've talked a lot about the Valley in the past few weeks because they have started filming. We spotted cast members like Lala and Schwartz filming, but Scheana has literally been nowhere to be found. And this week, we kind of got confirmation that it looks like she will not be appearing at all. Bravo and Cocktails did post a blind that said Scheana wouldn't be filming for season 3 and also said, I heard she's gonna claim it was her choice. Does anyone anywhere who's ever watched her on a show believe this is a choice she would make? Absolutely not. As things stand, she has no contract and is not filming. Now, word on the street is that Bravo producers are actually pretty pissed off about what she talked about in her memoir, My Good Side. Now, of course, I did not read that. But apparently she spilled a lot of beans, a lot of tea about what goes on behind the scenes and kind of called out Vanderpump Rules production for kind of manipulating things, manipulating storylines, maybe making things happen that weren't supposed to be happening. And I don't think Bravo likes it very much when you're gonna out their whole kind of behind the scenes plan. Also, it doesn't help that viewers were basically screaming into the void that is social media saying, do not bring Scheana back on the Valley. I've also heard that Lala is actually the one that took her place after all of this went down in the memoir. Now, these are just rumors. It's all alleged. I don't know if any of this actually happened. But I think from what I said the past few weeks, I did do a poll. Would you rather see Scheana or Lala on the Valley? I'm pretty sure the majority voted for Lala, and it looks like that's what we're gonna get. And it actually seems like Scheana and Lala are not in a good place, and I think that this could be one of the main reasons. Now, even though Scheana is literally not filming a single show on Bravo, she definitely is trying to weasel her way in however she can. Because of course, we all know, as I reported a few weeks ago, that she actually became part of the drama on the Real Housewives of Orange County surrounding all of the Gretchen naked wasted gate. It all started when Katie sat down with Teddy for an episode of their podcast. They both brought up that they had heard a rumor that Scheana was actually the one that told Kiki Monique about the rumor about Gretchen. This, of course, sparked all this controversy. Scheana denied it. She never said it. But it seems like there are still some hard feelings between Scheana and Tamra and Teddy because on this week's Watch What Happens Live, Andy asked Tamra, is there anyone you are not looking forward to running into at BravoCon? And Tamra's response was Scheana Shay.
Who's one Bravolebrity you are not looking forward to crossing paths with at BravoCon? Tamra Judge.
Scheana Shay.
Scheana Shay. You have beef with Scheana Shay?
Yeah.
She not only accused Scheana of being the reason that all of this Gretchen stuff was even brought up, she also reveals that Scheana said that her dream job is to be on the Real Housewives of Orange County. Excuse me? Scheana Shay on the Real Housewives of Orange County? Since when is that even an option? Like, number one, she doesn't live in Orange County. She lives in the Valley. And I do not like that Heather Dubrow has now set the precedent that even if you don't live in the city that you are filming in, you can still be a Real Housewife of whatever city. Second of all, no one asked for this. No, there is no way in hell that this would ever happen. But it seems like Scheana's gonna Scheana and she's gonna try to weasel her way in. She's been spotted hanging out with Gretchen this week. I don't know. It's gonna become an entire thing because Tamra wasn't the only one that brought her up on Watch What Happens Live, because Adriana from Miami also said that she has beef with Scheana because of the Captain Jason drama that happened at the last BravoCon. So I think the moral of the story is here that we are going to be getting a Squash That Beef segment with Scheana Shay at BravoCon. And it's probably going to be an entire Watch What Happens Live episode at this point, because let's list who she currently has beef with. Of course, Tamra, Teddy, Katie, Lala, Ariana, Katie. I mean, I bet you there's more. I just can't think of them right now. I don't know. If I were Scheana, I would kind of like back off and kind of just like go into hiding at this point because of all of the beef that I have with these people. But no. She is egging Tamra on social media because she posted this video. And then she's also calling Tamra out on Instagram stories, screenshotting Tamra Judge liking her reel and saying, well, look who's lurking. Tamra replied and said, sweetie, you collabed on this post and I happen to like the post on Farrah's page, not yours. No one's stalking/lurking, including Bravo. Bye. I gotta say, guys, and I hate to say it, I'm once again Team Tamra. It seems like these people keep going up against Tamra that you can't help not to root for. Like when it comes to Gretchen versus Tamra, sorry, I'm kind of Team Tamra. Scheana and Tamra, I'm gonna choose Tamra again. Like, is that kind of her plan to go up against the most unlikable people on Bravo? Because in both of these situations, you can't help but be on her side. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Let me know whose side you guys are on, Tamra or Scheana. Okay, moving on to another story that I'm really excited to discuss, and that is the premiere of Special Forces. Now, like I said before, I was not going to watch this show. You know, I was excited that there were going to be Bravolebrities on it. We have Brittany, Teresa, Gia, and Eva all on this season. However, when I saw the headline that came out this week about Brittany, I had no choice but to tune in to episode 1. The headline reads, Brittany Cartwright quits Special Forces after 1 day. So embarrassing. When the going gets tough, Brittany Cartwright goes home. The Vanderpump Rules alum had a goal to prove her haters wrong during her time on Fox's Special Forces World's Toughest Test, but ultimately quit the show on her first day. I knew I was going to be first. I fucking knew it. So embarrassing, Cartwright said at the end of Thursday night's season 4 premiere episode. I finally found the strength to leave a very toxic relationship, she shared, referencing her tumultuous divorce from her estranged husband, Jax Taylor. After learning she joined the high-intensity reality series, she claimed her ex was writing me like, you're not going to make it far, right before I even came here. People like that I want to prove wrong, she added. However, Cartwright's day one problems proved to get the best of her even after she managed the muddy water and rappelling from a helicopter despite her being terrified of heights. I have to admit, my first reaction when seeing this headline was, what? What do you mean that Brittany quit on day 1? So I was like, okay, I gotta turn this on and see for myself whether this was actually warranted. And when I tell you, I wouldn't last 2 seconds on this show, so everything I'm about to say, please take with a grain of salt. But I don't know, what they're doing, don't get me wrong, is super tough. I mean, they are legit being treated like they are in the military. It's super tough. I mean, even former NFL players and athletes are struggling to get through these challenges. But we have other people like Teresa and Gia and Eva who are actually holding their own on this show. I gotta give them props. But Brittany, girl, Come on, you should have known that this show was going to be tough. If I were going into the show, I would have been training for months, especially knowing that Jax basically told her, you aren't going to last a single day. You are going to be the first one off. Like, wouldn't that be motivation enough for you to keep going? But no, she gives up halfway through the first day.
Make a decision.
I can't. I'm gonna throw up. I'm really sorry. I feel like
And while I don't blame her, I would have probably been in the same boat. I'm a little disappointed in her. I would have loved to see her make it further and not be the first one and not give Jax Taylor exactly what he was hoping for. Even though Brittany's gone, I'm one episode in and I gotta say, I'm kind of hooked. I do want to see how far Teresa and Gia and Eva make it along with the rest of the group. So I might be tuning in to the rest of the season. Another update regarding Special Forces that I did not see coming was that Paige DeSorbo was actually asked to join the show, and her response was basically absolutely not. She did some panel with Hannah Berner where she revealed this, and she said, "What about me makes you think that I would do this show?" And she's not wrong. She is literally the complete opposite of anything that this show is about. But I would have still loved to see her on it. That would have been amazing TV. Speaking of Paige, I don't know if you guys saw on social media, but there was this golf tournament, the Ryder Cup, that was actually showing on NBC this past weekend. And whoever works at NBC and is in charge of, hiring the correspondents for this tournament, you guys are so shady, because the two people that they had corresponding with Colin Jost were Hannah Berner and Shep Rose. Last season, Shep was the one that called Giggly Squad a stupid talk show. And not only that, Shep brought along the other boys from Southern Charm, Austin and Craig. There's even a picture with Hannah and Shep over the weekend. So that tells me that even though Hannah and Craig probably didn't speak, they were definitely in the same room as each other. And how dare you people at NBC? How dare you put Hannah Berner in a room with Paige's ex, Craig? I can only imagine the tension in that room between them. Anyway, I hope that Hannah talks about it on Giggly Squad and talks about seeing Craig, because I definitely want to know how that went down. Okay, moving on. I cannot go any further without talking about this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, because our own baby gorgeous Lisa Barlow was back and she did not waste any time. Even though I said she wasn't missed on episode 1, her being back during episode 2 just brings this show to an absolutely new level. I mean, that first sit down with Heather was absolute camp. I live a very different life from all of you. Everybody knows I do big things. Like the way these lines just so seamlessly and naturally come out of her mouth. I know a lot of you are going to say, she's so annoying, she's so full of herself, da 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 da. That's what makes a good housewife. We want these women to be egotistical and narcissist and over the top. And that's what I just love about her, because you see what you get. I have met Lisa Barlow actually quite a few times, and I've had pretty lengthy conversations with her. And every single time, she is exactly how she is on the show. But so nice, so gracious, so into the conversation. What you see is what you get. And that's what I love about her. I don't love that Bronwyn is going so hard at her after these lawsuits, especially when Bronwyn has her own legal issues that are going to be coming up later in this season. Though I have to admit, I did laugh when Bronwyn brought up the part where Lisa Barlow said she did not dispute the debt, but rather simply replied with a palm face emoji and a one-word response: overwhelmed. Like, honestly, that's going to be my new response to everything, just overwhelmed. But I don't know. I don't want baby gorgeous attacked over these lawsuits. But I do have to say, even though Lisa Barlow says everything is dismissed, According to Google, that is actually not the case. No, not all of Lisa Barlow's recent lawsuits have been dismissed. While one lawsuit against Vida Tequila was dismissed in August 2024, another lawsuit was filed against Barlow and her husband for a similar debt claim around the same time. So the dismissed lawsuit actually came about in June 2024 when a former business partner sued Lisa Barlow and Vida Tequila over alleged unpaid loans, but the Salt Lake Tribune reported in August that this lawsuit was dismissed. However, there's another lawsuit that was also brought about in August 2024. The Salt Lake Tribune noted that another lawsuit was filed against Barlow and her husband by the Financial Services Corporation, alleging $105,000 in unpaid loans. The ongoing litigation is the Barlows denied the charges in the new case, and the outcome of the Financial Services Corporation lawsuit was not mentioned in the reports from August 2024. So if it has actually been dismissed, as Lisa Barlow says, it appears that there has been no updates online regarding that. So I don't really know what to believe. It looks like we are going to be actually getting a press conference from Lisa Barlow with a poster board and all next week to go over these lawsuits, which is giving Karen Huger in season 1, season 2 of Potomac, the iconic hashtag free Karen, hashtag tax reform moment. And I love that. Like I said, Lisa Barlow, we want over the top, and Lisa Barlow is going to give us one thing, and that is over the top. She's campy. She gives us these one-liners and moments that are part of Bravo history. And sorry, guys, like it or not, I have a controversial opinion. Lisa Barlow, I'm actually going to be putting on my Housewives Mount Rushmore, and let me tell you why. Now, this is a thing that goes on social media. Even Andy was asked about it. Who is your Housewives Mount Rushmore? There are 4 heads on Mount Rushmore, so who would be the 4 housewives that you would pick for that? And like her or not, Lisa Barlow is iconic. I mean, do you know how many one-liners this woman has had? I mean, when you think about the OGs, right? The OGs of their franchises, Vicki Gunvalson, Nene Leakes, Teresa Giudice. I think that Lisa Barlow is going to go down in history as one of those iconic OGs. She is a Salt Lake City OG, and she is synonymous with the franchise. I can't picture Salt Lake City Housewives without Lisa Barlow. Am I crazy? I mean, yes, I know she is absolutely polarizing, but that is yet another thing that makes her such a great housewife. But that's not to say that I don't love Angie K and Bronwyn too. I said it before and I'll say it again. The beauty of Salt Lake City is that alliances are shifting so quickly every single week. You don't really have to pick a side because they're always changing. And I love all of the cast of characters that we have to follow every week. Another thing I also love is this season of The Real Housewives of Miami because we got the finale, and I gotta say, I am sad to see these women go. But I don't know if you guys caught the reunion trailer, but apparently there is some big bombshell that happens at the Miami reunion that people are saying we have never seen on Housewives before. So we actually got the reunion trailer, right? And in it, of course, we get the normal back and forth between a lot of the ladies. We're going to see a lot of the feuds come to a head. But there's this thing where Adriana gives Julia a box to open during the reunion, and apparently there is some sort of bombshell being revealed in this moment.
Auntie, what you don't know, but Adriana does.
Now, I've done some digging online, and the consensus seems to be that people think that there was maybe something going on between Adriana and Julia at some point, that they actually had some sort of tryst, or Adriana was actually in love with Julia and they hooked up at some point. But of course, Julia is now with Martina. I don't know. This is all alleged. Those are all rumors. Everybody's just kind of jumping to that conclusion. And all I can say is it better not be clickbait, because I am so tired of Andy and people at Bravo clickbaiting us about these reunions, like the Kyle Richards revelation that there's going to be this huge revelation, major shock value in part 3 of the reunion, only for it to be a non-answer answer about her relationship with Morgan. Like, just I don't know. Don't tell us something major is going to happen if it's not. We're still going to tune in because we love the shows, but don't lie to us, okay? So all I got to say is whatever it is it better be a bombshell and it better be worth all of this hoopla that is going on surrounding it. A couple final stories from this week. I don't know if you guys saw, but Rinna, former Real Housewife of Beverly Hills, is launching a new book, and it is called You Better Believe I'm Gonna Talk About It. I mean, what a great name for a book. I gotta say, okay, I'm normally pretty opposed to housewives' memoirs because a lot of them, I don't think that they have lived interesting enough lives, especially because we see them on TV every year for them to also write a book about. However, I do think that Rinna might actually have stuff to say and talk about. She has led a very interesting life. She had a very long and successful career in the spotlight prior to Housewives and has kind of been flying a little bit under the radar after the Housewives. And now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I'm saying that because she's actually blocked me on Instagram still, so I can't really see what she's been up to. But if I had to make a list of housewives that actually deserved a memoir, Rinna might actually be on that list. Not gonna say I'm gonna read it or anything, but I'm sure a lot of people actually will. She's also revealing some other interesting things that although she was spotted at Alexia's wedding, Kyle Richards' daughter, she actually did not sign a filming release. So I do think that they filmed the wedding for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills upcoming season, but apparently Rinna didn't want to be a part of that and actually didn't sign the release, which I find really interesting. I actually thought that she was going to be filming a little bit this season because I think she was spotted at some filming location with Kyle Richards at one point, and of course was at the wedding too, but apparently we aren't going to be seeing her. She also revealed that she was invited to BravoCon this year and declined the offer, which, guys, actually makes sense because the last time she was at BravoCon, she got booed on stage. I was there in the room. I was also taking part in the booing, I have to admit, because it was, of course, the very tumultuous and controversial Aspen season with Kathy Hilton. I think that was her last season, right? So yeah, I understand why she wouldn't want to show up at BravoCon, but to be honest, I think enough time has passed. I do think that she could show back up, and I think people might be here for it. And finally, a little bit of happy news coming out of Summer House. You guys know that they are actually filming a spin-off of Summer House in the City, which I reported on last week. We know that the cast is going to consist of Lindsay, Kyle, and Amanda, maybe Carl. I think Andrea and his wife have also been spotted filming. But Carl actually did an interview this week and revealed that Lindsay has gone to Soft Bar.
She has?
By.
Nice. Well, how did that feel?
It felt good.
Okay. And was she, I would imagine that she is impressed.
Yeah, I think she, when she took it in, I think she was like, wow, it's actually here. So she was there, which was really sweet of her to stop by. I was, honored that she would take the time and come. And given everything that's been, happened between us, it was cool to just see that. So
after her absolutely shitting on the idea, telling him absolutely do not open a brick and mortar bar, she actually showed up to support him. And this gives me hope because they were friends long before they were ever in a relationship. They were friends for nearly a decade before they got engaged, only for it to all turn to shit. And I actually think that there could be a world where they got back to that place. Because I think at the end of the day, they were better off friends, of course. And they had an actually solid, good friendship before they ever got together. So this does give me hope that maybe they can get back to that place. Now, I'm not saying that Lindsay isn't going to end up being right about Soft Bar. I gotta say, if you guys have seen the pictures and everything about Soft Bar, it looks amazing. I hope it is successful, but with the going rate of Bravo bars at this point, Schwartz and Sandy's gone, Jax's gone. And while Carl isn't really to that level of toxic that those men are, I don't know. I still think I'm Team Lindsay on this one. A brick and mortar bar location may not be the best idea. However, the one thing that Carl does have going for him, he didn't name it Carl's, okay? It's called Soft Bar. It can live on without him. It doesn't have his name on the front. So at least Carl is doing something right. So that's it for this week. Coming up this week, we have another episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We have the Miami reunion beginning, and of course, another episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County, which we will be back to recap with our co-host Lisa. In the meantime, hit that subscribe button, drop your opinions in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.